not. But look, I mean, that's something that I've really been thinking about. I don't like. I think sometimes I make the mistake of getting too conspiratorial. I mean, the reality is with a lot of these crises and a lot of stuff that happens, what the establishment is expert in, it's not controlling crisis or manufacturing crisis, it's exploiting crisis. Right. Yeah, and spinning. And so it's just like, hey man, this came out, might as well use it to our advantage. Yeah, Miss Reed, we're taking your allegations seriously, so we're going to remove Joe Biden. Unlike that dastardly Trump and those Republicans. And then they get to remove this terrible candidate that no one wants anyways. And who will it be? Will it be Cuomo? I don't know. We'll see. They got to put someone of color on the ticket, though. I mean, basically, Al Sharpton's holding them hostage right now. Better put Stacey Abrams or some other black woman up there, or you're a racist Democrat. So we'll see what happens.
Hillary Clinton in blackface. That's who.
Why not? Let's get Ralph Northam back in the. Get him back in the hood. Come on, Noerr. You can do it.
Man, my connection keeps having problems here, but we got a couple people still sticking with us.
That's what she said.
Yeah, right. That is not what she said. I'm gonna tell you here. Okay, so there now maybe it's good. 7-6. Yeah. So sorry about that, guys. YouTube is being a dick. What else is new? I think I'm going to click off of that to restart your broadcast to apply the changes out. So I got to restart it to do that. Well, maybe if I do that, we'll see if that comes back on. Army SJG, tell SJG to turn on DLive. It's on. It should be on. Okay. Fucking A, man.
It streams offline again, man.
Somebody go check right there and see if DLive's on.
I'll check.
It says it's on here. It says I got 2 people on there. God. I may have to just start streaming to DLive only, but the sad part is I don't have as many. And I'm just dropping YouTube guys right now. They're just like, we're out of here. Now I got a couple that came back. Is it showing it dead? I guess I could.
I can see DLive. You're running live on DLive.
So refresh. Tell them to refresh on now. Okay, cool. All right, good. All right.
Yeah, you're good on both.
So yeah, just refresh, guys. If it goes dead over there, just refresh. I'm going to close that so it doesn't take more of my bandwidth. Okay. Robert Noerr, ice cream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream. Robert Noerr, you are the man.
I'm winning.
You're winning. Okay, so this article says New York man accused of hoarding COVID-19 materials for price gouging. In what prosecutors are calling the first criminal case in the U.S. charged under the Defense Production Act, the owner of a sneaker and apparel store on Long Island allegedly began accumulating and selling at inflated prices merchandise associated with the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, I don't think price gouging is okay, but I think if someone has stuff and they want to sell it, the government shouldn't be able to come in and take over with that. That's what bothers me. Amardeep Singh has been charged by federal prosecutors in Brooklyn with violating the Defense Production Act of 1950. Carmageddon, the mic is yours. The only thing you're winning, you only think you're winning, is what he just put the challenge to you, man. Fatten my pockets by getting in a price war with him. I like
it. He's going to win if it's more than like $3.
He had N95 respirators, respirators, face masks, surgical masks, face shields, gloves, gowns, coverall sanitizing, disinfecting products at the warehouse in Brentwood. Then price gouging customers at his retail store in plain view. If convicted, Singh faces up to a year in prison. He's expected to surrender to authorities. As charged in the complaint, Singh amassing of critical personal protective equipment during a public health crisis and reselling at huge markups places him squarely in the crosshairs of the law enforcement armed with the Defense Production Act, said Attorney Richard Donahue. His office is working tirelessly and coordinating with the COVID-19 hoarding and price gouging task force to prevent a pandemic of greed by profiteers. Between March 25th and April 8th, Singh allegedly received dozens of deliveries at his retail store and warehouse, including 40 shipments of disposable face masks, weighing more than 1.6 tons. That's a lot of damn face masks. 14 shipments of disposable surgical gowns weighing more than 2.5 tons. Shipments of hand sanitizers weighing more than 1.8 tons. And 7 shipments of digital thermometers weighing 250 pounds. Okay, so maybe Maybe he was. The price gouging part, I think, isn't right. But I don't think it's cool if someone has, and maybe I haven't thought this through enough, but if somebody has product and they want to sell it, who the hell are we to be able to forcefully come in and tell them, you need to give us your product, and if you try to sell it, we're going to arrest you?
I mean,
yeah, it does seem a little bit excessive to me, but go, Rob.
Yeah, I mean, well, there's a billion things to say about this. One is, what about all the actual mask manufacturers that said that there was a shortage because they already promised to sell all of their masks overseas at a higher profit? So are they equally criminal because they're gouging the price? They're withholding materials that could benefit Americans as an American company because they want to make a profit. See, here's the key when it comes to stuff like this. You're only a criminal if you're small time. If you got enough money to grease the wheels and you're the one actually doing damage and you're one of these manufacturers and you have enough money to lobby, then, hey, man, price gouge all you want. No problem. What do you think the pharmaceutical industry is about? Isn't that largely price gouging? But still, the government shouldn't be getting involved. And once, I guess if there's a unique situation, I don't know if I can trust the reporting exactly on, and I certainly haven't read enough to know exactly what this situation is, but what it's doing is it's leading us down this path where we see this kind of 1984 world we're entering, where the truth is a lie, war is peace. Criminals are now the new upstanding citizens, and upstanding citizens are the criminals. You know, I remember at the beginning of this, my state, Pennsylvania, in Philadelphia, they released a memo saying that cops were no longer going to seek to charge people with crimes such as petty theft, burglary, etc. But at the same time, they put out a video that said, or a memo that said, if you're a small business owner that was deemed non-essential and you try to open, the police will bring you down. So in other words, if you burglarize a small business, perfectly fine. If you try to open a small business, you're a criminal. This is the same type of stuff we'll see here. They already have things like 0% interest rates. All of our economic policies designed to screw over people that do the right thing. It's designed to encourage borrowing more than people have a means to pay back. And that's exactly what this makes me think of when I hear this is when the shit hits the fan, when the economy really starts to collapse, they're going to start to look at middle America and saying, who are you to own a house? Who are you? How dare you hoard those provisions you have in your home? Other people are suffering. So we as the government, if you did the right thing and you saved up, meat, or you saved up money so that you could afford to provide for your family, you're not allowed to do that. That's unethical. We're going to redistribute that. Boy, I've heard that argument before, right? Doesn't that sound an awful lot like what the Bolsheviks did in Ukraine that led to something like 20 million Ukrainians starving to death because the government said it was immoral for those farmers to hoard food? So yes, is there a time where maybe someone's doing something unethical and price gouging, or hoarding unethically? Yeah, maybe. But all this shows me is more big government, more them setting the path for this dystopian future where everything's controlled by the government. They have no self-reliance, and everything's redistributed and controlled by them. Maybe I'm conspiratorial, but that's what it makes me think of.
No, I think you're spot on. I've come to the conclusion that we have to actually stop people from writing dystopian novels, because it just seems like the globalist elite use these things as a guidebook. Like you could almost see like a Hunger Games scenario starting up now. Just 1984. Now you've got the Hunger Games. I mean, there's a little bit of idiocracy in there as well.
That's what David Icke says. Icke says is going on is this Hunger Game. We're moving into this Hunger Game mentality. That's a good analogy. Keep going. Sorry.
Yeah. Look, you can see a point coming where they're going to stop people from buying food. From growing their own food. I know that in some places in the US that's already happened, isn't it? They're stopping people from buying seeds and growing their own food. Well, why would you do that? There is absolutely, you're not going to get, so far as I understand, I mean, I could be wrong in this, but you're not going to get this coronavirus, as I understand this, from planting a carrot seed in the ground. Mm-hmm. Right? So there's no legitimate reason to be stopping people from growing their own food. Why would you want to have that control, that amount of control over people, and have control over what they, that their access to food?
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. And food is the scariest portion of that, but you could see them doing it in other things. Like, why can you go to liquor stores in New Jersey, but it's illegal to go to church? Why in Michigan, in the grocery stores or the big box stores like Walmart, could you go in and you could buy all sorts of worthless crap that you won't need, CDs, DVDs, etc. But they have the seeds and American flags and stuff like that roped off where you can't purchase them. What's the argument here? Like, and what it is, it's control.
Control.
It's them. They don't want patriotism. They don't want you being self-sufficient.
Right.
And that's been my contention the entire time. Like, I know I sound like I'm beating a dead horse, but to me, the agenda
You're
of
beating
the
off a dead
globalists-
horse? Is that what you just said?
I didn't say off. I said beating. Just beating a dead horse. Not all.
Because this is the wrong channel if you want to start talking about beating off a dead horse, okay?
That's
And
the
a dead horse is
after
going to
hours.
take you a long time to get that thing beat off anyways.
That's right. The after hours SJG perspective show. But no, I mean, I've said this over and over. What the globalists, which the Democratic Party is the face of them, but don't be mistaken, the Mitt Romneys and whatever on the right. And it's not just U.S. I'm sure it's Australia. It's Europe. We see what these globalists want is, to me, their utopia is San Francisco. It's L.A.
Yeah.
They want to live in these castles. And they'll give us food. They'll give us entertainment. They'll give us shelter. But they want us to be totally reliant on them. Living in squalor with needles and fecal matter in the street. That's what they want. They're in their castle above it. And then we worship them and say, please, please give us sustenance. And they say, oh, of course, as long as you worship us, we'll give you sustenance.
Yeah.
That's what they want. How else can you say, we're going to start to criminalize people trying to grow a small garden in their yard? There's no science behind it. None. There's not one epidemiologist I've seen that said, hey, if you're out there by yourself, social distancing, planting a small garden, that's a bad thing. To the contrary, they say things like sunlight and exercise are good. So what's the rationale for this again? And, I know we're getting off topic of this hoarding, but it's all in the same vein.
It's all in the same vein.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I think the rationale for it is that the ground is dirty. You can't have your food growing in the ground. It's like the stuff that they grow doesn't grow in the ground,
I had a funny side story. I knew a girl once, we were having a big family dinner and she was like dating someone in our family and we had chicken and she said, was this chicken on a bone? And we were like, yeah, it was a live chicken that was killed and now we're eating the meat from it. She goes, oh, I only eat chicken that was never on a bone. It's like, those chicken. Yeah.
In other words, she only eats a straight rooster.
Yeah. I was like, she thought chicken nuggets, I guess, were somehow, maybe she's right. Maybe there is no real chicken in there. I don't know. But it's the same type of thing. It's like, ooh, that dirty ground. I only
the chicken nuggets are under the chicken bone, weren't they? Isn't that how it works? If my anatomy lessons are working?
I guess I should have spent more attention in biology class, but yeah, maybe they're just thinking like, no, we only eat vegetables that weren't in the dirty ground. We don't like that dirt.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, farmers have clean dirt that they grow their stuff in, and it's government approved clean dirt. Yeah, it's madness.
Well, the fact of the matter is, guys, the civil liberties right now that we have, Gmail. Oh shit, sorry. It's getting beyond the pale here with what we're losing and with the drones but yeah, like the seeds, like you guys trying to do two things at once and my brain just can't do that.
Oh, no problem.
The seeds, you're absolutely right. The seeds thing drives me absolutely insane because they tell us we can't. We bought a bunch of seeds at the dollar store, no less, before all of this stuff really kicked off. But then how they basically were saying that you can't use your seeds now or some shit like that. You can't buy seeds are non-essential, but food, I guess, is kind of an essential thing, right? And if you want to grow your own food, it's kind of like the chicken thing where governments will regulate if you can have, you can have chickens. Have you guys seen that?
Yeah.
Craziness? Mm-mm. Oh yeah, like they'll regulate you if you can have chickens or not. It's.
I've come to the conclusion. I think I might have said this before a while ago, but I don't think that any city should be allowed to get above about 300,000 or 400,000 people because the people inside those cities become insane. Like I grew up on farms, so I've seen the way that nature operates, and it's nasty and it's dirty. I've seen things die. I've killed chickens. I've been involved in the killing of sheep, the killing of cows, all that fun kind of stuff. And it gives you a different perspective on life. I think, people who grow up in cities just seem to be so detached from the real world.
Yeah.
That's the only way that you can kind of rationalize this stuff that, you can't grow your own food because it could be dangerous. Well, it's the same bloody dirt on a farm. Now, it's not like the dirt there's clean. The government doesn't come in and bleach the dirt and make it all nice and clean so you can grow stuff. So there's just It's insanity. I mean, it's either based on, I'm sure that the people at the top, it's all based on controlling us.
Sure.
No doubt of that. But they're minions, the stupid people in the cities who buy into this stuff. It just comes from them having absolutely no concept of the real world at all. That is the only conclusion that I can come to.
And they have a disdain. They have a disdain for the people that live in that world, that real world, that actually provide the produce and provide the labor. Look, there is a disdain in the United States, and I think it's in the first world. It would be in Australia and Europe, I would guess, that you would tell us too, of people that work with their hands, of people that do, low educated people that do these jobs. But these jobs, that's exactly why I started my channel. I suck at those jobs. I'm one of the least handy people you ever meet. But I grew up seeing all these people that they're my inspiration. They're what makes our country and the world go. The farmers, the welders, the truck drivers, things like that. But everyone they don't have a voice. Everyone with a voice in the United States just mocks those people. Flyover country, low educated people clinging to their guns and Bibles. What's Rick Yates say on CNN? 10-toothed rubes that don't know how to read a map. That's what he said. That are afraid the brown horde's coming to take their way of life. That's what they said. So let's play this out a little further. So that's how they treat middle America. That's how they treat people all over the world that work with their hands, that make their lives possible. The only reason they're able to do their worthless crap, working for CNN or being a hedge fund manager, whatever, the only reason they're able to do that's because someone's working on that farm. Someone's trucking that produce into their city. Now, let's look at Pennsylvania here real quick. For some reason, all these counties, 47 counties, have less than 100 cases of COVID. Yet they all get shut down in the name of solidarity with Philadelphia. Do you think if there was an epidemic that only hit rural Pennsylvania that Philadelphia would shut down? Of course not.
No.
They don't give a shit about us. They don't care at all. And so now you're starting to see reports, people in the city are now seeking to relocate permanently to suburban and rural areas.
Yeah.
I'll welcome them. I think they should relocate. But it kind of just shows the arrogance that these people had, that, we know how to run the world. We're the educated. We're the smart people. It's starting to catch up on them. And that's why, I am an American through and through. My heart goes out to every single person that's died of COVID. It really does. The world over, it does. But isn't it ironic that we're seeing that this is basically localized in cities, especially New York City? They could make fun of us and treat us like crap every day of the year. Say that we're worthless. We need to get rid of the Electoral College. These 10-tooth rubes shouldn't have the right to vote, blah, 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 blah. But we all have to be the ones that sacrifice for New York City now. And I'm not saying that as an American, throw New York under the bus. That's not what I'm saying. But it's just funny to me how these globalists and these people that just make fun of the actual people that do real things in life, now all of a sudden the story's different once they're in a crisis. We have to, again, normal Americans are the ones, normal people around the world are the ones that have to suffer for their globalist dreams, for their poor choices that they've made.
Yep.
It turns out the elite hate everybody that's essential, and I think they're finding out what essential actually means. And like you see all of the celebrities and that crying in Hollywood. I'm a little bit of a fan. I say this sarcastically, a little bit of a fan of letting people eat what they consume. Hollywood can eat their spaghetti westerns, and we'll just eat the food that we grow on the farms. Leave the cities to their own devices for a week or two, and just see if it sort of reprioritizes them. But I have to say that I would not want to be in a city now, because if we do start having food shortages, the cities are going to be the worst possible place to be.
Yeah. So hey, let me.
You're going to have to resort to eating rats and or cannibalism.
Let me address something. Let me address something here, off subject, but I feel like I needed to address it with my followers. Hey guys, so I think Armageddon made the comment, totally off subject what we're talking about. Good points, by the way, to sum it all up. But guys, why does a restream bot bug you? Here's why. It's not a smack against any of my moderators. My moderators are dear to my heart. The reason I have that is so people from DLive can communicate with people from YouTube and vice versa. So I don't understand why that's pissing people off. Somebody explain that to me in the chat. Explain to me why you don't like.
It's because it's because it's a moderator, and if it doesn't like something that somebody says, it automatically deletes it.
In YouTube it does that?
We have no control over that.
Wait a minute.
Sorry?
So is it will delete people's comments in YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I didn't know that. I will go in and make a setting to where it doesn't. Maybe I have it on the wrong setting.
I don't think you can though. I think it has to be. I think it has to be set up to be a moderator. But if it's a moderator, then it does actually do moderate.
Yeah, but I think I can tell it what it can moderate and what it can't.
Oh, okay.
So I'll have to check on that. I didn't know that, guys. So I didn't know it was actually deleting or taking control before you guys could. So after the stream, I'll mess with that before the next one. And if not, I'll find another workaround to get to mix these streams up or mix the chats. Because I like the chats people being able to connect with each other in the chats, but
yeah,
I didn't
it
know
is
that.
good. I just think, like, to people that are actually involved in this thing, if the restream bot is annoying you, just be creative with what you want to say.
Harmony says
if
you're
the
lying.
bot-
Just kidding. She didn't actually say you were lying, but she did say she hasn't seen it delete anything. Are you lying to me because you're Australian?
Oh no, well that's just what was being said the last time I was on the stream.
Okay.
So I haven't actually seen it delete anything. But if it's doing it automatically,
Well, then why are you
would
giving me
see it
fake
delete.
news? Why are you giving
Because
me?
that's what I was told. That's what I was told by somebody else. See, according to reliable sources on CNN, the restream bot will automatically delete comments.
What do you expect from someone that hails from an island of criminals?
I know, exactly.
That's right. You don't trust us, mate. Yeah.
Oh man. Oh man.
Criminality is literally in our genes.
I would fit in. That's where I should be.
Oh
Yeah, I
god.
mean, you have to be from criminal stock to fit in here.
I still, this is completely off topic. To me, the height of what's the word I'm looking for, of civilization is still Paul Hogan's Australia from Crocodile Dundee.
It is.
In my head, that's Australia. It's the greatest place in the
And I love the part where he says, "Throw some shrimp on the bobby, mate."
Oh yeah, it's just everything about it.
He never said that, dude. Like,
I think he
English.
did. No, I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure he said that. No, he said,
he said,
"That's not a knife.
I'll throw a shrimp on the barbie for you." You got to say it like an Aussie, man.
I'll
You
throw
say
some
it like
shrimp
a
on the
bloody
bobby
bomb.
for you." That's
That's
not a
knife.
That's a knife.
You're a pom. That's not a knife.
Check out if you get bored and you're just randomly find yourself looking at stuff on the internet. Check out YouTube Paul Hogan when he was at the Oscars. It's one of the best bits that has ever occurred at the Oscars, which I hate the Oscars. But he's just like, "Hey, mate, don't take yourself seriously. 95% of you are all gonna lose, so just sit there and smile and clap and just fun with it." Like, he's like a normal guy. It's like, yes, thank you, Paul Hogan. And he kills crocodiles, which is a good thing for the world, I think.
It is. There's too many damn crocodiles. If you don't believe me, look in Florida. Of course, those are
He was a
alligators.
funny guy.
Did he die?
No, he's still
Oh,
alive.
no,
I think.
he's just.
Why are you
old.
talking about him in the past tense?
No, because he's old now.
Doesn't get worse.
Once you get over a certain age, you don't count. No,
kidding.
All right.
He doesn't do anything anymore. You never hear
All
from
right.
him anymore.
Okay, so let's take a quick 60-second timeout here. We're gonna come
Sexy. Did you say a sexy?
back.
timeout?
A sexy 60-second timeout, and then we're
Man,
gonna.
I'm getting off this stream right now. I don't
And
want the
don't
sexy
worry,
time with you, mate.
You're
Sexy
okay.
time in the horse comment.
Yeah, with some dead. We're gonna have some sexy time with some dead horses when I come back. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about, and this one will be a good one to get some thoughts from Robert and from Rational. But Nancy Pelosi apparently said that the next relief bill will be expensive and must contain aid to the states. The next relief bill will be expensive. I don't know what she thought this relief bill was, but we're going to hit that topic in 60 seconds. We'll be right back.
Late at night, it's a fakey crime, but Chelsea's boys.
Imagine an audio collection of parody songs.
I'm gonna do some
designed to trigger the
overdubs
safe
for
place
your
snowflakes
commercial,
of the
too.
most easily offended among us.
I can't hear your video.
Experience one of the best collections in conservative parody troll musical media. Direct from SJG Perspective Productions.
I hear you talking.
A patriot parody troll leftist aneurysm-inducing collection. Have a laugh with Ice Ice Baby. Or ponder the truth of
You guys
media
can't hear
lies with Tell Me Lies.
Oh, they hear that.
You might need to take a shower.
Oh, I know
after
why.
listening to
I know why.
Super Crib.
You can hear it on YouTube.
Because this got disconnected, I bet you. Yeah, that's why. There you go.
No other collection will bring joy and tears of laughter to the ears of the conservatives, while simultaneously bringing tears of frustration and anger to the SJWs and the leftists among us. To receive your collection, like, share, and subscribe to SJG Perspective, and receive access to this content and much, much more. Don't wait. It could disappear at any moment. Subscribe today.
Okay. Don't forget to subscribe to SJG Perspective. Okay. You guys are already subscribed and you're here, but share that video out. So, Nancy Pelosi says that the next relief bill will be expensive. I haven't read this article yet, but I just thought from the title that this was worth reading because I don't understand how she doesn't think this last relief bill we just kicked out wasn't expensive. She says House Speaker Representative Nancy Pelosi said Friday that the fifth COVID-19 relief bill will soon be ready and called on Republicans to agree to longstanding Democrat demands. So we have to agree to their demands. That is hilarious to me. That the next package must include aid to the states and local governments. There will not be a bill without such aid. Pelosi said during a press conference, while she did not specify her expectations. Thank you so much, Scarecrow. She did not specify her expectations for the price tag of the next bill. She said it would be expensive. Damn, they just think we're just this money comes, it just grows on money trees, man. Grows on Fed trees, man. It's going to be expensive. Oh man, well, I'll save my commentary and Robert's rant when we get done with this. It's insane. Democrats have been pushing for federal aid to the states and local governments, which is not included in the most recent $500 billion, $500 billion relief bill signed into law by President Trump on Friday. He called the Paycheck Protection Program and Healthcare Enhancement Act. It replenishes the popular small business loan program that has run out of money and boosts funding for hospitals to ramp up COVID-19 testing. Trump signaled in a tweet that the items left out of the recent bill, like payroll tax cut infrastructure initiatives and fiscal relief to state and local governments for lost revenue from COVID-19, could be included in the next round of aid. Pelosi remarks followed the adoption of the four partisan relief bills worth some $3 trillion, and that is $3,000 billion. And if you don't know what $1 billion is, that's $1,000 million. So what would that be? That'd be $300,000 million is $3 trillion. I don't know if that math is right. It could be wrong.
Sounded good.
Okay, it's a lot of fucking money.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. To help businesses, workers, and families cope with the economic and social fallout of the outbreak of the CCP virus, a novel coronavirus that causes the COVID-19 disease. The fifth bill could also see partisan fault lines revived as Republicans and Democrats seem poised to tangle over federal aid to states and local governments grappling with the outbreak. The Democrats' agenda for the funding has already seen some Republican pushback, with Senator Majority Leader Mitch McConnell telling a conservative talk show host on Wednesday that the federal aid to states could amount to bailing out cash-strapped states controlled by Democratic administrations. That's about the whole thing there. We get the gist of what they're saying here. The insanity right now of that is the fact that the amount of money we've already put into the circulation now and the bailout is going to could cause, potentially probably will cause catastrophic inflation. And I don't know how you get that money back out. Now, I know they say it's loans and some of this other stuff, but the fallout from pumping this much money, this much stimulus, this much quantitative easing, if you will, into the economy is scary as hell for our economy in the long run. I would like to we got Rational up there right now, and I know Robert's got probably a few things to say on this. Anything that comes to mind that you would like to share, Rational?
Well, you were asking before about how, like with Nancy Pelosi and that kind of thing, do they think that money just kind of grows on trees? Well, I suspect in a way that they probably do, because it's very easy for these guys to accumulate money. I don't think they really have an understanding of how the financial system works. I mean, I don't really even understand the financial system. It is ridiculously complex, but for a Democrat, if they want money, they seem to have it on tap. These guys have an amazing ability to accumulate far more money than they've ever earned. And I think that it just completely robs them of any perspective on what money actually means. So that's kind of why, part of how I look at this. I think there's also a little bit of the fact that they just want to tear everything down. I think that's another reason why they're quite happy to use this thing, to further their cause of the destruction of the West, not realizing that the destruction of the West is their own destruction. They're too stupid to work that out, I suspect.
Yeah.
But that's kind of how I see this thing going. You know, they're seeing this as an opportunity to get what they want, which is just an annihilation and a reconstruction of the system. You know, they want to create their John Lennon style utopia. I mean, that was the whole point of my Imagine song that I did. You know, like you have, the John Lennon, the lefty globalist elite kind of a tosspot who sees if you tear everything down and you create this new wonderful system, it's going to be all glorious and good. But in reality, it's going to be a hell that most people aren't going to survive, and a lot of them aren't going to survive it either. Again, it comes down to the fact of you actually do need people to grow your food. You know? And unless you create a Hunger Games system, the system collapses completely, and they go down with us. And I just think they're too stupid to figure that out.
What are your thoughts, Robert?
Well, just riffing on that real quick. Yeah, I mean, this is what they want. They've been transparent about this. They want centralized control. They don't want you to be self-reliant. They don't want a middle class. This is what the establishment and globalism's about.
Right.
They're taking away people's ability to basically live off of their own work and the sweat of their own brow. They don't want that. They want to control everything and then make you reliant on them. That's what they've wanted all the while. So there's a billion ways I could go with this. Let me maybe throw some controversy.
There's 1,000 million ways you could go with this.
Thousands of millions of ways. So let's talk about the Republicans and Trump's role in all of this. First, it's not just the $2 trillion that they passed. Don't forget, the Federal Reserve also added $4 trillion of liquidity. Now, what that means is they basically just printed $4 trillion.
Right.
How much money was on the Fed's balance sheet before that? About $4 trillion. So they literally overnight doubled the amount of money they have. What are they doing with that money? Well, they could lend it out to their friends or their lobbyists, or they could buy back certain stocks and things like that, which is basically then giving control from this private bank, control over vast resources in the United States, because we allowed them to just say, okay, we have $4 trillion more dollars. So that's money that we'll have to pay back, plus the $2 trillion bill, plus the $500 billion bill that they just passed. And they keep saying, well, this is just this phase. There will be another phase. I'm screaming to the heavens while this is all going on. The first time, like, where are the fiscal conservatives? Where are the people saying that we can't do this? All of a sudden, they're with Trump saying, oh, no, the people are suffering. We need trillions. Wasn't that some, like, what do they call that? Hegelian, I can never think of the word. But they create the problem and then they solve it, right?
Yeah.
The Hegelian dialectic.
Yeah, the Hegelian, exactly. So
what he said.
They crush the economy, but then we should worship them for sending us some breadcrumbs in an attempt to save it. Now, I'm old enough to remember when Republicans said that Bernie Sanders, we could not afford Bernie Sanders' plan to eliminate student loan debt. They didn't say it would be a bad use of money. They said we literally don't have the money, and it would bankrupt the country to try to do something like that. You know what the price tag on that plan was? $1.5 trillion. So we've surpassed that. We've more than doubled that already in a month. And this is just the beginning, as you hear both Republicans and Democrats saying. Nancy's saying this is going to be expensive. What the hell does that mean? How does she define expensive? Meanwhile, all this money that gets printed, who loses? Well, the people that can immediately get zero interest loans and that are connected to the Federal Reserve and have the ability to directly get money from these, such as Carnival Cruises and the airlines and all these places, they win. Because the way inflation works, when they devalue our money, the people that get their hands on that money first get the most value out of it.
Mm-hmm.
You at home, your money that you have in the bank, you're losing it anyways because of no fault of your own, because the government locked down. But now it's going to be further devalued because they're basically doubling the amount of money that's in supply.
Yeah.
So even if you don't look like you lose money, that's what's going to happen. And it's all designed to intentionally collapse people's ability to live on their own. And the last thing I'll say about this is why, again, I support Trump. I had all these Trump supporters saying, Rob, how dare you? We're unsubscribing because you're criticizing that Trump's for this blank check approach. You know what I'm seeing with a bunch of people that have never voted, that are basically indifferent, that I've spent 2 years trying to convince to vote Republican? You know what I hear them telling me when I talk to them on the phone now? Because, social distancing and all. They say, hey, man, I got $1,200 sent to me. Or, as a family, we got $2,400 and $500 for each of my kids. Maybe we should have voted for someone like Andrew Yang. I like this getting money. Yep. And when Trump loses, when tons of people, obviously there's going to be voter fraud and all the corruption that goes against Trump anyways, but there are going to be a substantial amount of people that are like, yeah, I'm going to vote for the party that's going to send me a check to stay at home. Go right now. Go to Zero Hedge. There's article after article. Just one example I can give you. A small business owner owned a salon in Oregon. She fought to get this small business loan. She got it. She called her employees excited, said, yes, we can go back to work. I got this loan. To her chagrin, her employees screamed at her. We don't want to go back to work. We're making more money on unemployment.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they've incentivized. And it is complicated, right? Watch the movie JFK. It's a great movie. Oliver Stone did it. Kevin Costner's playing a lawyer that's arguing against the official story of the assassination of JFK, and he says something to the effect of, look, of course the government can sit up here and convolute some story to make the magic bullet seem like it makes sense. The government can tell you that an elephant can hang off a cliff with his tail tied around a daisy, and that's absolutely true. They make things so complicated that the average person's like, oh, okay. All I know is I got a check.
Yeah.
They're screwing you over.
Yeah.
We don't have this money. Were the Republicans lying when they said 1.5 trillion would bankrupt us under Bernie? Or are they lying now when we say 6 trillion? Yeah, we have to spend 6 trillion. We have to spend more than that. And yes, before anyone says, just the last thing I'll say, yes, the Democrats are infinitely worse. I get that. But I'm saying if we have both sides having this blank check approach, sure, a trillion here, we'll give 25 million to the Kennedy Art Center. We'll give 50 million to Harvard. You get a car. It's not going to work. It's going to collapse this country, and that's exactly what they want.
Yeah.
My anger at Trump is he's playing into the very people that want.
Well, that raises a good point that I wanted to bring up too on that a little bit. And then we'll wrap this up here in just a couple minutes. But I have been wrestling with: is Trump in over his head? Is he not the person we thought he was, where he's playing this whatever D chess you want to call it, right? Or he can't be both things at once. Is my point? Is he actually not as in control as we all like to think he is, or is the opposite side is no, he's gonna pull a rabbit out of the hat? I don't see any rabbits coming out of the hat, and I think this is exposing that. And this is not a knock on him. People are going to get mad at me that I'm saying this. This is not a knock against him that he's maybe not as in control as he thinks he is. The globalists are so strong and in control of so much shit, and I don't know how we get rid of them or we stop it or wake people up to see it. But they're in control.
What if they're all playing 4D chess against us? What if Donald Trump has always been working with the globalists?
Well, that's another theory that you could say.
Have a look at what the Democratic Party is doing right now, and you think they seem to be desperate for Donald Trump to get re-elected. And the thing that has been sort of nagging away at the back of my head, if it was a Democrat in power, say Biden had got elected, or say Hillary had won the election, would people in the US, guys like yourselves, have taken what has been dished out if it was Hillary Clinton doing it? If you guys were being put into a lockdown, if you were getting all of this money thrown around, if your rights were being absolutely trampled, would you have allowed that under Hillary Clinton, or would you already be in a state of civil war?
Yeah, it's the go-to plan of theirs. Go back to Bush. You had this big anti-war swell that was occurring in the United States, right? So what do? They're like, here's what we'll do. We'll get a black guy, because black's hip, and we'll have him run on, I'm a man of peace. Hell, we'll give him the Nobel Peace Prize. And then he'll just continue the same wars. And now all of a sudden, the anti-war movement, just like that, it's gone. I don't think, my gut feeling's this. I don't have the answers. All I could do is look at the evidence in front of me. And Trump's screwing the pooch on this one big time. What I believe is this. I believe Trump's a decent guy. Yeah. But I believe Trump's human. He's not playing 4D chess with everything. He don't know crap about viruses like I don't. So he has experts around him, just like he doesn't know about every country in the world, Syria or Iran. So he's listening to experts. These experts are corrupt, many of them that are around him. They're either inept or they're corrupt. I think that they're corrupt. And so he's listening to them, and they're giving him information that's bad. Go back to the Second Amendment stuff. You remember when, the Vegas shooting happened and Trump came out and was just like, yeah, man, let's get rid of bump stocks. Yeah, let's get rid of these terrible weapons. What happened then? A bunch of Trump supporters, his base, came out and was like, no. And the truth is, Trump's probably not really an ideologue when it comes to the Second Amendment. But once he saw that his supporters were like, oh yeah, maybe there is something to this, then all of a sudden he started becoming more pro-Second Amendment. I think it's the same thing here. He listened to everyone around him was like, you got to shut down. You can tell when he starts riffing like, why the hell are we shut down? By Easter, you could tell that his gut feeling was, we ain't gonna have no shutdown. I'm a businessman. Keep that economy rolling. You could tell that's what he was thinking. But he was forced to listen to all the voices around him. So as Trump supporters, it should have been our job to say, no, this is bad. But instead, something unbelievable happened. A lot of Trump supporters were like, yes, the lockdown's a great thing because Trump suggested it. So if Trump wants the lockdown, then it must be good.
Yeah.
And so my buddy Carlos, he says that this is all about impeachment. That what they're trying to do is put Trump in a difficult position. No matter what he does, they'll be able to try to impeach him because they can't win a fair election. But I think it's deeper than that. I think that the Democrats are setting, what the establishment does is they stack the deck. So no matter who wins, they win. And if they can't get Trump to be a globalist establishment person, the next best thing they could do is force him to act like one. And so they're just like, you know what? Who cares if Trump wins or not? We're basically getting all of our wealth redistribution, taking away of rights, shaming people for having nationalist belief, shaming people saying they can't go to church, all of this racial crap that they're inserting. They're getting all of that with Trump in charge.
Mm-hmm.
So even if they lose the election, so what? We'll just have an expert say next year, there's another virus. Oh, we got to shut everything down. And so
They won't do that under a Democrat, though. Under a Democrat, they're not going to want to shut everything back down.
Oh, no, you're absolutely right. But that's what I mean. They've set the conditions that people have accepted. And this is why I'm focusing on conservatives and Trump. Yes, I know the Bernie supporters are like, yay, spend trillions of dollars to help poor people. Yay, of course. Yay,
global warming, yay, it's not as bad anymore.
Of course, the establishment left and the Bernie bros, of course, they're for massive government spending. Of course. But what's shocking to me is to see the amount of conservatives, fiscal conservatives, constitutional conservatives that are like mocking, oh, it's just you have to give up your rights in times of a crisis. We can't be concerned about the economy or people will die. We have to, $6 trillion isn't enough. We need to spend more than $6 trillion. If the people that for 2 years have argued the media are a bunch of fear mongers, they're trying to collapse the economy to harm Trump. If those people, just like that in a day's time, could say, not only are we now for collapsing the economy and for taking away rights, but we'll actually shame anyone who disagrees with us, then what hope do we have? And that's...
Just on that, if I could just jump in and say something. At the beginning, I didn't have a problem with shutting things down because it did look as though this virus could be something that was going to be really brutal. It was going to have the death rate of SARS or MERS or something like that, and be as contagious as the flu. So in a situation like that, where you're looking at a global pandemic that potentially is going to kill, maybe a few 100 million people, and it did look like that was plausible early on, that I didn't have a problem with the shutdown. I thought, okay, look, it sucks. I don't like it. You can suspend your freedom for a little while. But now we know that's not the case. And I think if, just with what SJG said there before, if you do get another Republican president, say in 4 years or 8 years, after Donald Trump does his second term, and they try this trick again, would it work? I don't think it would. I don't think that they could actually bring this virus up again or even another one and have people accept it quite the way that they did this first time around. Because all of us are looking at this and going, hang on a minute, we've been screwed over here. Right?
Yeah.
So I don't think we're going to accept it in quite the same way that we did before.
I disagree. I mean, we accepted the Patriot Act, and the same people, the same media, that every war we've accepted since Iraq. After Iraq, everyone was like, oh man, we won't leave them lie to us again. And then boom, just like that, it's like, oh, okay, we're going to go into Libya. Okay, we're going to bomb Syria. You already see the conditions set up with this. I said that we should never accept any infringement of our rights or massive depression of the economy on purpose like this unless the government answers basic questions about it. They didn't. The people were willing to accept it without answering the basic question. So now, because they control the narrative, they're already spinning it. Look at the Imperial College study out of the UK, right? It said 500,000 Brits would die of this disease. 2 days after they issued their lockdown, they said, okay, now the number's 20,000. That's 20 times less people. Now, each and every person out here knows that shit. We know that there's no way that just not going to the grocery store while other people are there is going to lessen the impact of this disease by 20 times. Everybody knows that's a garbage number, but they're getting away with it. And what they'll say, this is what I said day one. I remember talking to SJG about it. I said, what they'll say is, okay, now that you've accepted giving away your rights and you've accepted this destruction of the economy, no matter how many people die, if it's 10 people or if it's 10 million in the United States, they'll say, see, we were right to do it. We've saved lives. Yeah. And that's what's going to happen next time. They'll say, this virus is going to be worse than COVID was. You remember 60,000 something people died of COVID? Yeah. And it would have been millions if we didn't act. So we have to act again. And yes, you'll have people like me that are out there screaming like, no, they're lying to you. But no one's going to listen to me. They're going to listen to, especially when you have people like Donald Trump saying, oh, yeah, what did he say just the other day? The Georgia governor. Thank goodness to that person in Georgia that was like, we're opening up. Trump said, oh, I disagree with this decision. Well, there you go. If you don't have an avatar, if you don't have a champion or a side that has input to the public that's able to help with the narrative, I don't know what hope we have. When adamant Trump supporters are saying, yes, we were right to shut down the economy. We should get back to work now, but we were right to initially do it. I think we got to.
Okay. All right. Oh, shit. Sorry. That scared me, my music. But anyway, very, very, very good thoughts. I need to wrap this up here pretty quick. But before I do, anybody over on the D Live, I can always never forget to do this. Sorry. Hang on. I didn't mean to segue that quickly off of what Robert and Rational said.
No, it's
very good point. Very good point. All of them. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. And don't go anywhere yet, guys. And putting your input in, because it just makes the stream more interesting. So, Hard Drive, thank you for the donation. So before we go anywhere, I always got to remember to do this. I am going to open the chest and distribute the awards, but before I do it, I'm going to submit one more to it here. All right, so I'm giving away half of my money here, guys, because I love you guys that much. All right, we're distributing awards here. So in so doing, we got 30 seconds to do that. I'm going to roll out some credits here live, maybe. Yes, there we go. I want to appreciate everybody who has came out today and joined us. Moderators, that's going to make my moderators mad. They're the only moderators that Restream brought that everyone hates. I'll get that fixed. I'll get that fixed for you guys, so we know next time what they're doing and whatnot. I'd like to call out the winners today. Today we got Carmageddon with 98.6, Freebird with 57, Hard Drive 41, Scarecrow 33, and Freedom Roads 27 lemons. I want to thank everybody who donated. I want to thank everybody who hung out. I want to thank everybody that is here, and all my moderators. I don't know all of my moderators are on here, but I know like Harmony. It's not highlighted on here, but if you're a moderator, a hard-working moderator for the SJG Perspective channel, I want to thank you for that. This was my first stream back with some of my two favorite guys in the world, Robert and Rational Wrongthink. I got my new setup, so we're gonna start doing this regularly again here real soon. Any closing parting words before we close this stream out? And I will let Rational go first and then end with you, Robert.
Oh, not me, mate. I'm actually I'm typing. I'm kind of distracted. Sorry, dude.
You can't do two things at once?
No, I can't do two things at once.
That's
Sorry,
Aussie.
Come back to me. Come back to me.
Okay. Robert, why don't you give a little closing goodbye word?
Sure. Everyone always says to me, why are you so bad? I think you all should get more mad. I think that we're seeing them try to take away, our country in front of us. But let me say, in addition to that, learn how to, one of the things with me is I'm still having a great time in life. Don't think that I'm someone who's depressed. I sleep like a baby every night. I snore a little loud. If you ask me.
But you wake up crying every hour.
Yeah. But, you can see, I hope that, trust me, when me and Rational and SJG are talking off the air, we sound just like we do on the air. We're happy, fun people. We're talking about important things, and it's depressing. But, you could be passionate and be, try to get up or, be upset about what you see, but still have fun in life, have a good laugh and things like that. So that's why I love working with you all. I never feel pressure. I feel like we come on. If we disagree, we disagree. It's no big deal. And we always have fun and we respect each other. So thanks so much for having me on, and thanks everyone for listening to us.
Thank you for being here. Rational.
Yeah, really not much to say beyond that. I think that having debate and being passionate about things is actually a good thing. And I'm more than happy to listen to the views of people that disagree with me. And, SJG and I, we disagree on certain things, and that's fine.
Yeah.
I love the guy. I think he's great. I'm happy at the fact that I met you. And the same with Rob, the same with Drone. Healthy, normal people, adults, are able to discuss different ideas. Right. And you're going to agree on some things, you're going to disagree on others. But, we are all people who I think first and foremost believe in the idea of freedom. And what we're seeing at the moment, I think that all of us do agree on, is that the free world is under attack. What is left of the free world is dying before our eyes. And so we are realistically, I think we're going to get passionate about that from time to time. And as Rob said, we should be getting passionate about it. And it's not so much anger. Like, I'm not angry about what's going on in the world at the moment. I'm quite passionate about it. But it's an Australian form of passion, a little bit understated compared to Rob's.
Yeah.
But I get really indignant about this stuff, and I get annoyed and I get frustrated by it. And you try to say to people, the biggest threat to the people that want power in this world is the freedom that we have in our heads, that we believe is a freedom that cannot be taken, that we will not let anybody take from us.
Yeah.
But that is the thing that is being destroyed right now, and we absolutely have to stand up for freedom. And that's why I don't think it would be as easy to lock us down again, because I, for one, wouldn't go for it the second time around. I was prepared to go for it the first time because there was a little bit of doubt about what was going on. But next time I'm going to be saying, well, you lied to me first time around, and I reckon you're lying to me again. And I would hope that there are going to be a lot of people that are going to think the same as me.
Yeah.
I hope that's true.
Yeah.
I hope so. Yeah.
And it's kind of like beating off a dead wallaby. Right? You don't want to do
That's
that.
what we do on the weekends here, mate. Got nothing else to do.
It's cuter than a horse. So,
Yeah, they are.
All right, guys. Hey, thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us at SJG Perspective. We'll see you again real soon, and we're going to get back on some regular live streams. So have a good night and a good day wherever you are. And again, it's SJG Perspective without fear or animus, and/or without fear
Fear of animals.
Thank you very much. We'll talk to you guys later.
see ya.
Ciao, guys.